Schwarber goes, you get only one chance to hit the first pitch ever you ever see for a home run. First pitch was a ball. And then second pitch was that pitch. And I hit it, and I saw Charlie Blackmon like kind of jogging. And I was like, what? No way. He's going to catch this ball. Like, I hit that ball really well.
Yeah.
And then I see him just playing off the wall. I was like, okay, good. Phew.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Rocky Students Podcast, where we want to inspire joy, purpose, and influence in you. And we're excited for today's episode.
Yeah,
but before we jump into our guest, we got to highlight our guest host.
Hey,
none other than Ryah, Cote. So, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Some fun things, but you graduated early.
I did.
So you're adulting.
I'm adulting.
A year earlier than normal.
Crazy.
And so you're technically a freshman.
In college, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where are you studying? What are you studying?
I'm currently at CU, but I'll be transferring next fall to UNC, and then I am studying early childhood education.
Nice.
Yeah.
She said she's also going to get a master's.
I'm going to go back and get my master's.
Oh, dang.
Yep.
Oh, dang.
Crazy. We got goals.
You're smart. You got goals.
I got goals.
Hey,
yeah.
Do you have a status like I want to be this, or is it like I just want to teach young kids and be good at it?
I mean, it'll start with teaching in like the lower grade levels, but I think eventually, and me and Matt kind of talked about this on our way up to middle school camp, I want to get to some sort of higher authority role, whether that's principal, something along those lines. But then I think ultimately kind of like my end goal is to end up back in the church in some sort of teaching authority role. So
nice. Yeah. I like that.
It's pretty good.
That's good. Well, thanks for joining us today. What do you know about baseball? I know you know about a lot about hockey.
I do know a lot about hockey. I can watch a baseball game and understand what's happening.
Okay.
Some people can't do that. They'll watch and be so confused. But there's innings and there's bases. Like, I know how it works. I know some of the basic rules.
Do you know what a high cheese is?
No.
We might cover. we might cover that later today.
Okay,
right?
Perfect.
My brother had to talk to me.
Oh my gosh!
Hey, you wait real quick. You wait there real quick.
This is my introduction.
Actually, no. Come on in. Come on in.
Here?
What's up, stud?
Matt Cote. Hey, you're here in time for intro.
Yeah. It was my.
And then let's
introduction.
jump into this. Oh, you're gonna come sit by us?
Aw.
Hey.
Say hi to the people at home.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, everybody? Matt, thanks for joining. Dude, this is your second episode joining us. Yeah, we started 3 minutes ago. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's.
Are we doing double arm around?
You're gonna jump in.
Yeah, we have.
Hey, listen, we're here for it.
What?
You ready?
You guys got notes and everything?
Dude,
oh yeah, we got the ChatGPT
so prepared.
intro.
Go ahead, do it.
Let's do it. All right, I'm super excited about this. Parker, you excited?
I have
So
never
excited.
been more excited.
Right, this is a friend of yours that we're gonna not your dad, who our guest today,
Oh yeah, it is.
and Matt.
Yeah, she's my friend too.
You wouldn't. Would you ever say
Yeah.
your dad's your friend?
Oh, he's one of my best friends.
Perfect. You passed the test. All right, today, our guest today is a professional baseball infielder in the Chicago Cubs organization. Grew up in the area, attending both Erie and Faith Academy High School. Played baseball at both Liberty and Neosho Community College, and in 2012 was drafted by the Chicago Cubs. More importantly than baseball, he's married to his high school sweetheart. They have a beautiful family together. According to ChatGPT, David Bote's nickname is Bote Vibes, with the walkout song called Good For You by Olivia Rodrigo. Can we please welcome David Bote to the show?
Thank you. ChatGPT.
What a song!
I was like, that was the first song it recommended? And I was like,
Yeah, that's not it.
We're
You went
sticking
with it.
That's not
Wow.
What is your walkout song?
The walkout song, well, for the longest time since I started it, was Brother by Need to Breathe.
Oh, that's a good one.
People have asked me what year.
Yeah.
I could not remember.
That's
And this
really
year was
good.
the first year I switched it up to Hope by NF before it
Oh,
went
look at
crazy.
you.
And then it went crazy, and then like NCAA was using it and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You were there before the hype.
I was there
Yeah.
before the hype.
Yeah.
I listened to that album. I wasn't a huge
It's-
NF fan until this year. I mean, I like this stuff, but
That
I
album
didn't.
was
This
really
album
good.
was
Were you at the
insane.
concert in Denver?
Wait,
Oh,
no.
it was good.
When
trying
was
to think
that?
when it was.
August?
It was during
September.
baseball.
Yeah, that would have been.
Yeah, early this fall.
That's what
That's
That's
what
what you're
Chat
walking
GPT
from. Wow.
wants to be hearing.
Chat's
Can
wrong.
you imagine walking up to that? I feel
Chat's
so motivated
wrong.
to this.
He went into the internet world, and somewhere along the way,
Just grabbed one.
somebody said, "Oh yeah, David Bote."
Olivia Rodrigo.
Good for you.
Good
You
for
know,
you.
there's a David. I don't know the full story, but I'll get on, the internet sometime and check in to see if there's any news on my boy here.
Yeah.
And type in David Bote, hit news. There is some David Bote like down in South America. I don't know the full deal. He's some kind of politician, I
Government
think.
official,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he will pop up. He's doing stuff sometimes that's not good. And I was like, oh man,
Yeah, I've gotten a few like tags, and I'm like, that's
Yeah,
not me.
that's not
That-
you.
That's not me. It's like
you're not from
politician.
Panama.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're not vice president of Panama. So.
How do you guys know each other?
Oh, I like this story.
Well, you went to school with my brother, and then so we kind of knew
I ditched him.
for the cooler younger brother.
Yeah.
No, and then so yeah, we just kind of knew each other just from my brother and him. We're just really good friends, and then in 2016 is when it really started because my wife and I lived with his mom in Iowa for about a week and a half.
Really?
Uh-huh.
I didn't even know
Yeah.
that.
With Deb and Big
What-
Matt.
What was the New Year's party?
Oh yeah, that was 17.
Okay, so you
No,
stayed with
that
them?
was the winter of 16.
right. So
No.
I think the
Winter of
origin,
16.
story was
Before that, we stayed with your mom and Big Matt.
that season before.
That season before that, and then New Year's Eve in 2016.
I was always kind of tracking with David because I love baseball, and I always wanted a professional baseball player's number in my phone.
Wow. Goals.
Some
Goals.
people
Succeeded.
Some people pray for a variety of things. That was my prayer. And so when David got drafted, I was staying connected, checking it out. We went down to spring training. I can't remember if that spring training when I went down with your brother was that before or after that New Year's deal. I have trouble remembering.
Well, when did I give you the hat? Were you wearing the Tennessee hat?
You were in Tennessee.
That would have been the year after. That would have been the spring after.
Okay. So I was
the New
always
Year's
just
Eve.
I was always just kind of connected, checking in this and that. But then there was a New Year's deal because you had been in the minors probably 5 years at that point.
It was 5, I think, going on 6.
So I was at his brother's house, we're having the party, and you had Shay, and you had another one on the way, right?
Not yet.
Not even Shay.
We had Shay, just
Okay.
not Riley yet.
And it was kind of like, I remember you guys, you were sitting on the floor.
Yep, and
against
you were up on the
wall.
table.
Yep, and you were just saying, yeah, if something doesn't happen this year, I probably got to get a big boy job, Maybe I got to be a student pastor or something.
Right.
It was kind of like it needs to happen this year. This is kind of like the deal.
We were out of money.
Yeah. So then I was really like invested. I was like, dude, I'm going to pray for you. And this has got to be it. And then I just stay connected. I don't know if that was that spring training or not, but went down with his brother. And it must have been after because you were playing in the big boy games.
That must have been a few years after that.
Okay. I don't know. I can't. But anyways,
But-
then we just stayed connected. And
It's been like 10 years.
That's kind of
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, and then to follow up that story was New Year's Eve. I was like, this is the last year. Like, if something happens, then we're done. We're at 0, 0, 0. Like
yeah.
0, 0, 0. We have no place to live. Like, I got a wife and a kid. Like, it's time to like pony up and take care of my family type of thing. And then in November of that following season, I had a really good year in AA. That November, I got put on the 40-man, which is a roster that I get placed on this big league roster. The pay went from $2,000 a month to then a salary of $40,000. So I was like, okay, we can do this now. And I was on that same table. I was on that same table that we were talking about. This was the last year at my brother's house. And they called me and said, hey, like 5-10 minutes before the deadline was passed, like, hey, we're putting you on the 40-man roster. Like, congratulations, this and that. And I called up Matt and I was like, yo, guess what? They put me on the 40-man roster. And then I took my brother out for dinner, and then come to find out my brother had called Matt like 10 minutes after I'd already called him, and he didn't know. And so like Matt was like, I had to act like surprised that it was the first time I heard the conversation. No way.
Yeah, I didn't want to hurt his feelings.
Exactly. So
it was Thanksgiving.
Yeah, the week after Thanksgiving.
Because my folks were in town. We were downtown having dinner in Denver. I remember where I was. When you told me, I was like, here we go. Here we freaking go.
Yep.
Yeah.
First purchase. What was the first purchase? Do you remember?
That
I purchased after I got put on the 40 man.
Oh, dude, I don't remember.
So before we went to dinner, we went and bought socks and underwear from Target.
Oh yeah.
That was the
Dude,
was it.
But it's cool when you guys will. I don't know what you guys talk about, and I won't stay too long. But you know what's cool about David's story is what's fun for me is you've seen like. Yeah, you see it full circle, and your story's not done. It keeps going.
Right.
But you've seen it, dude, grinding. I mean, to be a professional sports player, and even specifically with baseball, even when you just see the amount of guys all trying to get this one spot. I mean, I was there at spring training that year. I tell this story where, I mean, all the players in the Cubs organization are at this minor league complex, and David is one of hundreds and hundreds. And even within the position he's playing, 20, 30 dudes who are all trying to get this, hopes and dreams of this one spot. I mean, I was discouraged. I'm not even playing. I'm just looking at it going, the odds of anybody doing this is so slim. And to give it a go for, hardcore in the minors for 6 years just to get a shot and to do it in a way that, you could be like, hey, that guy did it right, the right mentality, and even along with his faith, along the way, it's been cool to see the progression and the cheer and to celebrate kind of those big moments along with him too. So it's been fun, to just witness that and to see that, and he's more than a baseball player, he's a great husband, a great father. So yeah, it's been fun to watch all that. So he's a good dude, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get him to come to Rockies, so. What
campus got to go north?
Yeah, I understand.
He wants some. Did it take to drive here?
Yeah. It depends. He can tell you about. I actually won a bet about driving from his house down here a couple of months ago. Right. It's whatever.
I had to bail him out of jail though.
You could talk to him about that, but
does he get to know what the bet is?
I bet him. Was it 40 minutes?
I don't. Well, I think
you can
said
make it from
35.
our house to his house.
No, I was leaving his house, driving to our house.
35 minutes.
And I said, hey, bud,
40.
I bet you.
I know.
I bet you I can be in my garage in.
Which is what city to what city?
I mean, it is.
It's up there.
I mean, when we go, it's like an hour drive.
It's
why? Well, I mean, you guys are going. When you guys go up there, you're running into traffic.
That's
5 o'clock.
It's always like evening time.
I haven't hit traffic.
How long did it take today? 40, 50?
So I stopped off at Chick-fil-A to get some Lord's chicken.
Thank you.
Oh, good.
I had I was working out and hitting, and then we had leftovers for dinner last night, so I'd eaten all my lunches for dinner, and so then I was like, man, I need some chicken. So I stopped off at Harmony. That took about 15 minutes, and then I think it was 35, 15, so 50 minutes. I think it was the slotted time, but I usually get here about 45.
Yeah.
But you did it in 35.
Speedy here is like, I can cut 20 minutes off.
Oh.
He sent me a picture of his garage. I said, you had that already locked up.
No, I didn't.
I was like, you already had that. I was like, you already had that. I need a timestamp. I need a newspaper or something.
Send me your location.
Send me a newspaper article.
I like a good bet. I was cruising, but it was also like
It was 11.
11
midnight.
o'clock at night.
So there weren't a lot of people out.
No.
Highway. I was like, either I'm gonna get pulled over for speeding or I'm gonna make this time. So.
And he made the time.
And
Wow.
I made time.
Wow.
Love it.
And I
Ish.
and I-
Under
Yeah,
protest.
it was very,
under
very, very
protest,
close, but
under
it is
protest.
possible. But yeah,
It is. It's
Depending
not
on
too
traffic.
far.
Depending on traffic, yeah.
It's not too far. But we
Yeah.
did discuss that, next campus, come up north.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would love this.
See, I mean, she's going to UNC.
I know, dude.
So-
Look
I
at
would
that.
love
Look
this.
at
She's
it. Would be
agreed. I mean,
perfect.
it's right
I
there.
know.
Right there.
Right there.
Campus pastor Ryah, Cote.
Yeah. She could.
That would
hey,
be. Hey,
you go.
she
listen.
could do it.
I could.
Loveland
Uh,
You gotta
campus.
do it. Okay, I'm gonna get out of here. You guys have fun. Do you have good questions prepared for this guy or what?
No.
Great.
Nothing.
That's great. That's
Thanks
awesome.
Thanks for making your second guest appearance.
Yeah, you're welcome, dude.
Hey,
Trying to
you have
help
a
out your-
discipleship office hours available after this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just come on in. Did you see where the discipleship office is?
No, I
They'll show you.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And if you have the same rule I tell my kids, if I'm in a meeting, you
Just open the door.
You just
Yeah,
walk
okay,
right in.
right?
Come on
Yeah.
That's it.
Just
Just
come on
walk right in.
That means
That's
a lot.
right. That's
Thank
right.
you.
You have the special.
Thank you.
Did they meet you at the front doors or did you get?
Yeah, I
locked
rang the
out?
doorbell.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's how we like to treat our guests.
He had to come up here.
Yeah, that's how.
Well, I was early. I was planning on being late, and then
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, good. Yeah, come see me after this. All right, you boys have fun. Good to see you.
Good to see
For
you.
being my friend.
Of course.
Hey,
Bye. Love you.
thanks, Cody.
Wow, I feel like I have so much more room now.
He's a little puffy in his puffy, sweatshirt over there.
Yeah, what was that?
It's got layers.
Thick shirt. I'm like, dude, it's 60 degrees today.
Yeah, man.
He needs help with his style. I tried telling
Nah, I
him.
like his style.
It's better.
It's improving.
I like
You should
his
ask him
style.
about when we went to Atlanta together, and because of it, he got a new shoe collection because his was so bad.
My dad. Oh, I remember.
I
It
like
was
his
the-
shoes.
Do you remember his
His shoes
camo
Oh, those were
Camo
awful.
chunks.
Those
His camo,
were
like,
awful.
Converses?
Yeah.
Awful.
Oh, yeah. He wears them all the time.
They're awful.
He threw them away.
He donated them.
They're gone.
Yeah, he
for
donated
him.
them.
Yeah.
Finally.
After a lot of bullying from the staff.
Yeah.
And his kids. He'd come over like, why did you wear those?
They're comfy.
That's
comfy.
what he would
They're
say.
comfy. I get it.
He'd be like,
Yeah.
listen,
I
it
get
doesn't
it.
match.
I'll wear that.
It doesn't match.
Woof. I don't care. I'll be comfy. I wore my, tight Jordans because I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to wear my, grandpa old on clouds that I wear now all the time because my feet hurt.
Yeah.
Ryah said you love shoes. Do you have a favorite? This is the top. Like, how about we like Mount Rushmores, which I remember now is 4, not 5.
Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go.
But do you have
Good
like a
job.
Mount Rushmore of your shoe collection, or maybe it's not in there yet?
Yeah, so the shoe collection is a funny one because I have a shoe collection, but I don't buy shoes. So I didn't buy shoes growing up or like doing this, but I had a Nike deal. And so then I just would buy my shoes on the Nike website with the Nike merch money that I was given. And so, once then they dropped me a couple years ago, so I don't buy any more shoes. But I still, at the end of the day, I probably have 30 to 40 Jordans just in the closet, which is fun. But
What's your favorite pair?
the Royal Toes ones are
Yeah.
probably my favorite that I have. These ones, I like the shoes. I'm gonna butcher the names, like whatever. But I think Jordan ones, like
Timeless.
they're just the most comfy. Like they go with a lot of stuff. The Jordan 3s, and then honestly, I like the. I have a couple of the 6s that are really nice and comfy.
I was looking at a pair of 6s
Yeah,
there.
the 6s are cool.
Do you own any Crocs?
So I had a conversation with a couple of the students at church up north that they were wearing their Crocs and like, oh, you get a pair of Crocs. I said, I had the original Crocs when it wasn't cool to wear them. And I got made
man.
fun
You
of
made
for
fun
wearing
of a
them.
lot.
Exactly. That was and they were $10. And I think now they're what, $50
That's
bucks?
it? $10?
Oh, they were so
Yeah.
cheap.
They were the
Inflation,
cheapest
They were the
thing.
cheapest shoe to
What?
buy.
No one
wanted
just
to wear
you
Crocs.
didn't wanna wear
just
them.
You
didn't
didn't
wear
want
Crocs.
but I did because they were comfy, and I would get made fun of all the time for it. Like
That's great because now you get like made fun of for not having Crocs.
right, I was the OG Croc
What?
wearer back in like,
dude.
Oh, how
like
the times
middle
have
school,
changed.
and being like, dude, you got holes in your shoes. I'm like, yeah, well. And they
How
had
it
like
goes.
teams too that you could wear back then.
Yeah.
Like now, I was like, they cost like $2 to like not even that 50 cents $1 to make back then, and now they're charging $50. So out of that being the original wears, I'm not gonna buy Crocs just because just on principle that
Fair.
they're
fair.
Crocs blew up in a way because Birkenstocks kind of did that thing too, where it's like they were in because they were comfy, like when my dad was in his 20s, 30s, and then they were out because people don't show their toes or whatever. And now they're
They came
back
back.
in.
I
And
say, I have-
Crocs
I
kind of
have
did that same
Birkenstocks.
thing,
Yeah.
but because even though they're more expensive than they used to be, they're still, I mean, my Birks were like $150 or
My
something
Birks
like
were
that.
not cheap.
And so it's like the Crocs kind of just did that same
They
thing.
did the same
but
thing. I feel
yeah,
like Crocs
to
are in like an
another
up
level.
and down right now because I remember like owning multiple pairs of Crocs when I was in like 8th grade freshman year, and then it like wasn't a thing, and then now they're back.
Yeah, they're
Like all these middle
They're-
schoolers, they're all They're all in
Well, that's what
But
the
socks
socks
with
and they're,
everything.
they're
Yeah.
Nike socks.
Yeah.
They're comfy.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You get the chains on for sport mode and snow.
Oh,
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
exactly.
Sport
Of
mode.
course.
I make fun of Nora for putting them in sport
I
mode.
do have a pair
Parker's
of
our
Crocs.
local rep.
I do have a pair of Crocs snow boots that just got in.
Are you serious?
They're this same like tread on the bottom, but they're like the puffy boot. They came in.
Are you being like so
I-
so for real right now?
I'm so for real right now.
Oh man.
I'm just imagining. Oh gosh, they were like the big leather boots.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's all I can imagine.
Yeah, they're
I
not
don't know
like
what those were called.
cute, but I like that they're ugly.
Okay.
I'll pull up. I'll
right,
put
I
it in
wanna see.
post.
Great.
While we're
Great.
talking about like old school, you're the OG of Crocs.
Right.
Some people out there are like, hey, I've recognized the name, or I want to get to know David a little bit more. So tell us a little bit about some of your journey of, we know you grew up somewhat in the area, but kind of walk us through a little bit of like what was some of the journey leading up to post college, and then I think there is, we'll chat a little bit more about the second half, but
Yeah.
just kind of the
Yeah.
bio.
Yeah, the chat correction, the chat.
Yeah.
What is it? Chat GBT.
Chat
Yeah, yeah.
GPT.
GBT.
Oh, those are awful, Parker.
Those are nice.
Yeah, man.
Those are nice.
They're one of the
We'll
most-
talk later.
Yeah.
We'll talk later.
Hey, man.
Yeah, so I was born in Longmont. My dad was a coach at Niwot forever. I actually was an original upward player for Rocky
Wow.
at the
That's-
Niwot campus. Hit a half court
Crazy.
buzzer beater. Yeah,
Look
yeah,
at you.
yeah. The whole
Impressive.
wristbands and the
Like the color coordination.
color
Yep.
coordinations and the chapel afterwards and So I did do the upward thing at the Niwot campus. It brings a full circle. Here we are.
Of course.
Went to Erie for a year and then went to Faith Christian for the rest or sophomore year through senior year. Then I went to Liberty for a semester, which is where Matt and my brother went. I was not recruited out of high school to play baseball, but I knew one of my brother's teammates was the GA, general grad assistant there. So I was like, hey, I can walk on, and did like a little mini tryout. So I was kind of a walk on at Liberty. Liked the school, liked everything about it. Like, it was cool just to get. Actually, right before that, I started dating my now wife, which we were my senior in high school, and she was at Oklahoma Baptist. And then I went to Liberty for a semester, and at the end of the fall semester, the coach comes in. And he was like, "Hey," like after my post semester meeting, he was like, "Hey, you're not going to play here. You can redshirt, but like I don't see you playing here ever. So it's like you just hang around, be one of the guys." Or he's like, "I recommend you go and do something different." And so I didn't really tell anybody like about that conversation. Like I was just like, just kind of that's what it was. And it was just like, I felt like, I don't know. So like I just kind of like came home for Christmas break, and it was about a week and a half, 2 weeks left. Cause the college break's a little bit longer. So it's like a week or two left, and we're at dinner. And my dad goes, "Hey, like, do you want to go back to Liberty?" And like, I hadn't even told him any of this, that like I wasn't gonna play, like I wasn't gonna do any of that. So I was just like, "No, not really." He was like, "Why?" He goes, "Well, the coach said I wasn't gonna play." Like, and it wasn't like, oh, I'm mad that this guy's not wanting me to play. Like, I still wanted to play. Like the thing was like, if I wanted to be done, like I would have been like, yeah, that's cool. Like that was like, I'm not good enough. Like I'm kind of done with this anyways. But like, I felt like I still had more to play. Like I still want to play baseball. It was still fun to do. So I was like, hey, I don't want to go back, because like I still want to play baseball. Like I was like, this was an opportunity. I still think I can do this. Like I want to be able to play this game a little bit longer. Like I don't know what's going to happen, but like whatever. So I had a friend that was a coach at Neosho County Community College in Kansas. And I was like, hey, like, do you have a place where I can play? Like, and this is like, spring semester starts in a week and a half. Yeah. Like all my stuff is in Virginia. All of like the like just everything, like all my stuff is there. And this school semester starting, like the season starts in February for college baseball. And so it was like, what are the chances? Like, well, let's just give it a shot and see what happens. So I call him up. I said, hey, do you have a place for me to play shortstop, or like not play short? He goes, can you play short and whatever? And I was like, sure. I was like, you need an infielder that wants to that I can play. And he's like, yeah, we'd love to have you. Can you get down here by Friday? I was like, sure. So we like drove down to Chanute, Kansas, in the middle of nowhere down there, and was graciously welcomed by them. And they just said, hey, like, yep. And then coach goes, yep, you'll be our 2-hole hitting playing shortstop. Like, I hadn't stepped foot on the field. I was like, dude, this guy, you've never seen me play. Wow. I just got told that I'm never going to play again. So then this coach, Steve Murray, been like, here you go. Like, you're going to be our 2-hole everyday shortstop. And I go, okay, I'm going to make a lot of friends this way. Because all those people that went through fall ball, that were like, that's my spot. And then here comes this guy. Who does he think he is? So then Neosho played there that spring semester. We had a couple guys, Matt Strom and Adam Giacalone, that were getting looks from professional teams, like that brought in scouts. And then the coach was like, hey, you should check out our shortstop. He's like, no one really knows who he is. He wasn't here for fall, or, like new on the scene type of guy. And so then Rick Schrader with the Cubs was the scout, and he's like, I came to me and he's like, I can't promise you anything, but like, I'm just going to do my best to sell you to the club. But like, I like what I see, but like, don't put your hopes on it, because I doubt, because like no one knows, like this is just a random situation. So then I was like, okay. And then went to a mission trip in Africa during the draft. And then I found we were in a airport in Mombasa, and we've got Wi-Fi, and my brother looked it up. It was day 3 of the draft. He goes, hey, congratulations. You got drafted by the Cubs in the 18th round. I didn't get a phone call.
Wow. You were in Mombasa, you said?
We were in Mombasa. Yep. There's no walls in this airport.
That's
how I found out I was drafted. Like, everybody on the state side knew I was drafted before I did. Because it already happened. And then like we just got hotspot, and we told our family where we were at.
You're like, oh, okay.
Yep. And then he goes, hey, congrats, you were drafted in the 18th round by the Cubs.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, can you walk us through a little bit of like you just shared a little bit of like going from, hey, enjoy being a bench player, to then, a college that you necessarily weren't like, this is where I was planning on going, spending time there, to then drafted. Like that moment when you find out, hey, you've been drafted. Yeah, clearly you're in a crazy spot. But what goes through your mind when you're like, maybe you're thinking of the places you've been through, or just what happened when they're like, you see your name on the Chicago Cubs draft list?
Oh, it didn't feel real. It was just kind of like, because it was just like, that was my name next to the Cubs logo, but it was like, it was so weird because it's not how I pictured it going, right? Obviously. Mm-hmm. And so it was like, I'm in a different country. We got rerouted from our original destination. So there's a lot of stressors going on there that like, this isn't, and then like, we got to get to where we're supposed to be going. And then like all that combining with then like, hey, you have an opportunity to sign with a professional team, go back to college, those decisions. But like, that was also the flip side of that was a super blessing, is that I had 2 weeks to really marinate on it and didn't feel like I had to rush into the decision what I wanted to do. Like, we had a couple of things. I was talking to Rachel was there as well, my wife, and we were dating at the time, and it was like, hey, like, what do we, like, we had plans of getting married. So it was like, what do we think of like this? Like, is this the life we kind of like want to go? Like, this is something I've dreamt of since a kid. Like, certain things that we were like, okay, God, like some of the things we wanted to see, like, we wanted to, like, would this work? Would they pay for college afterwards if I was done playing? Like, so like, there's things that we can like plan against, like, okay, if I do this, then that. And so I had a couple weeks to like pray about it, think about it. Obviously we were on a mission trip. So like, that was priority, was just like being able to talk to the people in Tanzania and Kenya and help with the churches there and our missionary partners. And so being able to like kind of keep a perspective about like, what is the whole purpose? Like, is it to really play baseball, or is it to like, this is a platform God is giving, like he's offering like this blessing. So it's like, and then being honored, like being then faithful to follow through and be like, okay, like you do have this platform now, use it. And so it's like kind of like that building block of like, and that's scary because like I sit here and like, it's David Bote, the professional baseball player, but like I'm a human, a sinner, a fallen human. Like, so like it's so hard, and like people in authority roles understand like it can be very it looks very hypocritical in a lot of ways, because like well, no, I'm not claiming to be perfect or claiming to have done it the right way the entire time. It's just like it's hard. But so that's kind of like how we went into the draft, and then just kind of signed. I came home from Africa, signed a few days later, and then was in Arizona like 2 days after that, and it was 120 degrees and hot.
Wow, that's cool. I love that part about the story, and just we'll kind of circle back in on some of those things, but I just mission trip. Everyone knows you're drafted. You find out in the airport. That's just
That's why.
that's a
What
wild
a memory,
story.
though. Like, that's something you'll never forget.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's wild.
gosh. We're gonna make a real hard turn. Because we're gonna jump back into the good
No
stuff
doubt.
here, but
No doubt.
we do a recurring Instagram poll. Thanks to all of you guys. And this week's it wasn't very even.
I don't remember how I voted.
But do you remember the question?
Yes.
What was it?
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yeah, that is the question we have. We'll let you kind of just think about it. You're already shaking your head now.
We've had this.
You know,
discussion. We've
oh,
had
yeah.
this happens. This comes up in the clubhouse every year, maybe twice a year. Also, does a cheetah stretch before it runs, and like all those things. But like, a cheetah never gets hurt. Should we stretch before you run? The whole, that's a whole nother question.
So you're like this. Thanks for making me relive this
No,
moment
that's
yet
right.
again.
I get a
Why no?
It's not a sandwich. It's a hot dog.
I will tell you this: you are talking to people in the room who think
Hot dog is the same.
is a
Did
sandwich.
you
So
vote? I don't remember
I
how I
want to know.
voted. I voted. I
Do you
just
have any
remember how I
reasons
voted.
why?
No, because like I understand the whole like two pieces of bread and it's it's a
Something in between.
something it's like a meat in
Yeah.
between and condiments or whatever. But like, it's not a sandwich.
I'm on your team, by the way.
Okay, but I mean it's not a sandwich.
These two are not.
What
Is that how I voted? Can you
are you
see
saying?
how I voted?
Just
I saw
hot
how you
dog's a
voted.
hot
Is that what I-
A
dog.
hot dog
is
is
that
a
what I
hot
did?
dog.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh.
You said
would
it's
you
a
say
sandwich.
I said it's a
hamburger is a
sandwich.
sandwich?
Yeah.
Hamburger's a
Like
sandwich.
even a hamburger is stretching it on a sandwich.
No.
But it's like it.
Like
I
close your eyes,
understand
close
why-
your eyes, and you say sandwich. Do you picture a hamburger or a hot dog?
I do now.
No,
I do now.
like no.
Let me just remind everyone the
way.
shoes you just bought.
Hey man, hey, listen. That's it.
Listen, this poll caused the most controversy in our
What
in our
was- oh,
DMs.
I'm so curious. What was
I mean,
it?
someone sent me a graph
Did they
with
really?
like a box that said when the bread is here, it's this. When a bread's here, it's sandwich. When a bread's here, it's
Wow.
taco. When a bread is all the way over, it's
like
a
a Hot Pocket.
calzone. When the bread is
Someone-
a box,
someone
it's like a
DM'd you that?
cupcake. Yeah.
Yeah, then
Wow.
that-
We got voice
that would be mine
memos.
is taco. Would a taco be a sandwich?
A lot of
Or
people
is a hot dog a taco?
that's most people said hot
I would
dog
say
is
a hot dog
a
is
taco.
Hot dog is a
closer to a
taco?
taco than a sandwich.
Then is a hoagie like a taco?
It's a sideways taco.
yeah.
But then it gets weird. I
Philly
think a hoagie is
cheesesteak?
its own. It's
Like a
its
Philly
own
cheesesteak?
thing. Yeah, it becomes its own type of subcategory.
So what was the
Which, by the way,
numbers?
It was pretty
real
split.
quick. What's the hot dog place that we went to?
Marco's in Longmont.
Marco's in Longmont. If you live in the
Never
area,
heard-
go
never heard
there.
of it.
It's
it
essentially
will
like
change your life.
it's essentially like a. I've been to Sonora, Mexico before, and
Yeah.
it's like a Sonoran Mexican hot dog.
Yeah, it's wrapped
Oh.
in
They
bacon.
wrap it in,
Okay,
and then it's
sick.
got like Mexican food toppings.
It's insane.
Yep. Is hot dog a sandwich? 29% of you said yes.
Wow.
71% of you were correct.
That is our biggest gap in numbers in all of our polls we've done.
But the funny thing is, like, you can argue both sides.
Oh, of course. That's
Yeah.
what makes
I
it
think,
fun.
I think it's
100%.
easier to argue
100%.
that it is based on like the.
I'm sorry. I'm so
Good for you
sorry.
starts playing again.
So sorry. I was going
But
back
I
to
just
my
would
notes.
say,
Good
like,
job.
I don't know. I would just say no.
Yeah, I agree with you. Do you have a favorite stadium? We're kind of talking about ballpark hot dogs.
Ballpark hot dogs.
You know, but not necessarily
well-
the hot dogs, just
Right.
the whole thing.
The whole thing.
What
Stadium
stadium
in
do you love
general.
most?
Wrigley was pretty special. Just like, I mean, the first time I went to Wrigley was in the minor leagues in 2014. And Rachel and I, we had an off day. We were in King County and we drove into Chicago and we went just to like this Chicago toury thing. And I was like, oh, let's ride bikes to the stadium from where we parked. Because like where we parked, it was free versus like, I'm not
Yeah.
going to pay stadium parking. And we were biking up the street and I was like, man, where is this stadium? Like, what in the world? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, it's just stores and houses. And And then, I mean, it was a long bike ride. We stopped after the gas station. I was like, I'm so sorry, Rachel, but you can buy anything you want in this gas station. I was like, which we didn't buy anything. Like, it wasn't, like, we're in the minor leagues. It wasn't like, we're not buying anything, but you can have a Gatorade, you know, like you can get a $3 Gatorade for that. And you just like pull up and it's like, bam, right in your face. Like, it's just boom, right there. So that was the first time I saw it. Then the first time I stepped foot on it was the couple games after my debut. We came in, it was dark, the lights were off, and like you just hear like the wind blowing the flags, and it was just like a surreal. You could see the ivy on the wall, and like it's weird because it's only 2 decks, which almost every other stadium is 3, but like it's huge still in its own right. It's like this weird thing, which I think they're building onto it now. But Wrigley is pretty special. Pittsburgh is a fun backdrop, beautiful place. I enjoy playing at St. Louis too. Like the red is really cool. I know Cubs fans are not going to be maybe happy about that, but it's fun. It is what it is. The Dodgers and the Padres have the best playing surface. Like the grass is, you could eat off of it. Like it's that pristine. There hasn't been a real stadium that I haven't liked. I like them all for different reasons. Like they all have their own little thing, but those are probably my top.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have you ever been to the Dodger Stadium?
No.
Okay.
Just the only baseball fields I've ever been to are Rocky Stadium.
Oh, Coors Field. I forgot. Coors Field. I mean, Coors Field is great. Like, obviously, that's where I debuted. So it was like.
Did you ever go there as a kid?
Oh yeah, all the time. But like playing debut there, like that
crazy.
was. Sorry, I'm gonna interrupt. But like the debut, I remember stepping out early, like coming out early and like there was nobody there. I was like an hour early before the game, like so like nobody was there yet, and so I was like kind of looking around, and then like you're so locked into the game that I didn't see when it switched, and so like it was like the 8th inning of my debut, and I like kind of took a step back to like kind of to bring it all in. Like it's stressful to play. Like it's like on your debut, it's even more stressful. So I'm just like trying not to mess up the entire game, you know. And I was like, okay, it's the 8th inning. We lost, which sucked. But I like take a step back and I go, oh my, this thing is sold out. Like it was so packed and so like I didn't even realize how loud it was until I stepped back and was like, oh, it's loud. And it was just the weirdest thing. Like I was so locked in, so like I didn't even hear anything.
Yeah. Real quick, while we're talking about that, can we take a look at your first hit?
Yeah.
This is, I think, your debut.
Yep. First at bat.
The back tightness that had been bothering him, and he golfs one out into deep right center, and that ball.
I thought he was going to catch it
with a awesome double.
Welcome to the show.
Schwarber goes, you get only one chance to hit the first pitch you ever see for a home run. First pitch was a ball. And then second pitch was that pitch. And I hit it, and I saw Charlie Blackmon like kind of jogging. And I was like, what? No way. He's going to catch this ball. Like I hit that ball really well.
Yeah.
And then I see him just playing off the wall. I was like, okay, good. Phew.
Yeah. What was the moment like when you hit second base? First hit, it's a double.
I was elated.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do.
Could you really tell how loud it was then?
No,
I'm sure
I don't really remember
so
it.
in the game.
Yeah, I was just looking at the dugout. Yeah, I was just trying to look for the dugout, and like, hey guys, like I made it. I made it over here.
There is a weird, like when I was doing basketball, the gym could be nuts, and I could hear my teammates and my coach, and that was it.
Yep.
It's like a weird thing that things tune out and tune in, and it's bizarre.
It's weird.
Yeah,
because I would think it's like second base is where you hear.
It's in the middle.
Yeah, you hear everything.
Yeah.
How do you deal with the amount of pressure that it, like even just first at bat? There's a lot on there. You kind of even said I was just trying to maintain my composure on my debut. I think the game of baseball is a lot of just like
right now and just reliving it.
You know, the game of baseball is so much like the pressure is on. Whether you're pitching, whether the ball's coming to you, it's so much on one individual person of the team. So do you have ways that you're like, these are ways I deal with the pressure, or a moment like that? Or it could just be, I have to send it and just hope for the best. I don't know.
No, a lot of the stuff that I do, like mental skills, breathing techniques, like in the moment, just being like, okay, calm your breath, take a deep breath, breathe in, breathe out, like just kind of slow it down, bring your heart rate down. I find a few things that like my logo on my bat or like the foul pole, just kind of like something I can go to that's there every time. Where it's like, okay, I see this, okay, now I can be calm, or like, hey, I can breathe, or talk myself through it, like, hey, like you got this, or self-talk of like you're good, like, hey, look for this pitch, or hey, look for a pitch to hit, like one you can drive, just kind of like those mental skills. And then away from the field, I do a lot of different things called stress inoculation with like cold tub, hot tub, like a breathing technique where it's like hyperventilating and holding your breath for as long as you can, and like trying to trick my body into be like, okay, I'm in a fight or flight mode right now, trying to hold my breath, and it's telling me to breathe, but like, no, calm your mind, and like you can hold it longer. And so it's like this, like, so that when I get into those situations, it's a little bit easier.
Wow.
Do you ever find yourself doing those outside of a game? Like you're a dad and kids are screaming. You're like,
for sure.
Like take deep breaths. Take deep breaths.
I mean,
I'm doing it right now.
That's fair.
dude,
Yeah, you'll be like, man, this guy breathes heavy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, well, keep trying to hide it with drinks of water.
That's so good. Oh my gosh, I love it. Did you ever play softball, Ryah?
No. I did soccer, gymnastics, volleyball, basketball.
Okay.
Ryah has a good story though about spring training last year, and her dad wanted to go to the games, and then they went to one, and like Matt was like, "I'll just take the girls to one game, but then I can go to all the other ones." And then they liked it so much that they were like, "No, we want to go again."
Going to all the
They
other
went to all of
games.
them.
We went
That's
to all
awesome.
of them.
Yeah.
What did you like about it?
It was just such a fun like experience. Like obviously it's like we know David, so to see him out there was really good. One of the games, I think it was our first. Was it the first game out there where it rained out? They
Yeah,
like,
in
end the
Cincinnati.
game. That was fun because it was like everyone left and we're like, nah, we're staying.
Yeah.
Like why?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
And then we saw you after the game. We
Yep.
talked for a little while. It was fun. It was just it was a good spring break trip.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were only planning on going to one game. We went to the one and we're like, all right, let's go to all the others now. So
Sick.
we
That
did.
was sweet. That's sweet. I have somewhat of a confession to make, because I was like,
Oh.
I realized when I asked you, what did you like about it? My brother played baseball, and I went to probably thousands of his baseball games, and he was a pitcher, and he was younger than me, it's out in the outside, so I was always over there on the side just getting sunburnt or rained on, and so I just grew to have this like dislike for
But
baseball.
that's the fun of it,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, but not like as a 9-year-old.
Oh, true. That's
So
true.
then now
That's
me and my brother
true.
have my own, debates, and I've come to have a respect, but I had to be, I would love to hear like, what do people love about it? And there's some
Well,
good
I
stuff.
just also just like the whole like environment of like a baseball stadium
It is
and like
unreal.
the vibes from everyone. Like you're not going to go to a baseball game and not have a good time.
Yeah.
Like I've never had an experience where I go to a baseball game and I walk away, I'm like, well, that was disappointing. Like there's always something about it that just, it's so much, especially like when you're going like with the family and you're making a family day out of it. Like it's always,
Yeah, I will
so
say.
fun.
I will say I don't like watch baseball, but I think it's because it's unlike any other sport because some of the action is so spread out. Like,
Right. You can check in and check
right.
out.
As a fan.
Yeah. So then it's like,
Or center field.
but once
It's a
you're actually
Right,
there,
right.
it's like you can actually come to appreciate that. Like I love every baseball game I've ever been to, even the good old Evansville Otters,
Oh, wow.
little below the minors. I don't know what they are, but it's like I love those games.
That made me think of Boise Hawks. I lived in Idaho, and we grew up going to the Boise
Yeah.
Hawks games, which you
I
spent a little
played
bit of
there a
time there.
lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, played there a lot.
The wood. I mean, when I was there, it was like wood stadium seating.
Still is, or
I
it still
love
was.
that. I love that.
Wow.
Man, the Boise Hawks. Evansville what? Otters?
The Evansville Otters.
Does Indiana have otters?
No.
River Otters? We got some.
Okay.
Oh.
I
just
think.
wanted to.
I don't
He's
know.
like, maybe.
I don't know. If
I don't
anything
really
can
know.
survive in the Ohio,
True.
is disgusting.
True.
In the Ohio.
It's no Lake Michigan, you know.
All right, can we
Michigan's huge.
can we test a little bit of your baseball slang term knowledge?
Oh, okay. Yep. High
You know-
cheese.
yeah, high cheese. Can you
High
help our
fastball.
friend here?
High fastball.
There you go.
That's a little-
Yep.
Okay, well, I got a couple others I
Okay.
want to know. I might actually do this. Ryah, I'm going to ask you
Okay.
what your definition is, and then we'll pass it over.
Okay. I'm
Okay,
like,
great.
yeah, you're right.
All
Okay.
right.
Perfect.
What's a banjo hitter?
Gosh dang it. No idea.
Okay.
No
all right.
idea.
We'll pass on to David.
A banjo hitter?
Yeah. I dug deep for some of these, so don't
I've
worry.
never heard of that. I'm gonna guess. I've never heard of it, so I'm gonna guess a banjo hitter is like. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna say it's like just like a speed. I feel like you play the banjo really quick. Like you just like speed hitter, like a slap hitter, kind of gets a lot of base hits.
You're pretty spot on. It's a hitter who does a lot of bloop hits without hard contact.
There you go.
Wow,
All right.
look at
Well
you. That was
done.
impressive.
Well
that
done.
one
You
out of the
passed.
hat.
You
That was
passed.
good.
I had no.
All right,
no
Ryah.
idea. Yep. What's up?
What's a can of corn?
Oh, you should know this from Iowa. They put it on they put it on the
Did they put
board.
it on
They
the-
put it on the
on the
board
s- Can during
of
that
corn.
game?
during the game.
During the game?
During the game in Des Moines. When you're there.
When I was at.
Oh yeah, every
They,
game.
they put it up on.
You could probably handle a can of corn.
It's a DeKalb can of corn.
Oh,
So there's a reason why
Wait.
it's called can of corn.
You know, okay.
I know the reason why.
Yeah.
even.
Wow.
wait. What was your? Was that like a?
My hint was-
What was your hint? Oh, when it gets hit out of the park.
No, that's it's not.
All right, Burn.
Dang
Good try.
it.
So a
All
can
right.
of corn
Dang
is
it.
a super easy catch, like just routine,
Oh.
easy catch.
Oh.
They call it a can of corn because the corn used to be on the top shelf at the supermarket, and so you couldn't like reach it and grab it, so you'd have to jump up and like hit it to yourself, and you would catch it. You catch it like a can of corn.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing. I love baseball terminology. It's the best.
It's
All right.
It's confusing.
Yeah, every game, the first fly ball, easy fly ball in Iowa, I'm like that's a DeKalb can of corn catch.
Can of corn.
Can of corn.
There you go. Four bagger.
Pass.
That's the homer.
Is it? Dang it. Dang it.
What about rhubarb?
Oh, I have heard of this one, but I forgot.
Okay. You might. It is a vegetable, but that's not the answer here.
Rhubarb pie is really good. Sorry, side
You-
note. Side note.
You're
Yeah,
on a
pass.
1 minute pause.
Pass.
Rhubarb is
I
not
don't-
a good
I-
pie.
Yes, it is. It is so good.
All right.
Yeah, I
What's
don't
your
know.
guess?
I
What's
don't
your
know.
guess? You've heard
Rhubarb.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
Is it an air?
No. It's a fight or a scuffle.
Oh,
Yeah, a rhubarb.
brawl, the
Little
rhubarb.
brawl.
It makes me feel better that you don't know some
Yeah,
of
I
these either.
didn't know that one.
Yeah, it makes me feel a little bit
I didn't know
better.
that one.
Have you ever cleared the bench?
Yeah, once. Well, once we had a real bench clearing brawl in the minor leagues. I kind of stayed out of it, but I was pulling people back. And then in 19, I hit 2 homers against the Diamondbacks, and then I got hit my next at bat. And I was chirping at the pitcher, being like, "What the heck?" Like, and
Yeah.
then he was yelling at me, we were yelling at me, and then like the bench is cleared. I was like, "Okay, I didn't really want to
You're
fight.
like, this is not what I
don't
not
actually
what I
need
want
this."
to happen.
John Boy Media ended up doing a video on it.
Oh, that's funny.
But I was like, I didn't really want to start
You're
anything,
like,
but I was
not
like,
how I wanted that to play
that's
out.
not like, it just was kind of like acting tough. I was like, whatever. Like it was,
You yelled
it was a
rhubarb
moment
and
of
said the
weakness.
wrong
It
word.
was a moment of weakness.
I love that. All right, I got 2 more. What's a tater?
I don't like this game.
Homer.
All right, the last one is plunked.
I'm not even gonna try.
Plunked.
They got plunked.
You can think of that.
Like,
Yeah.
Context clues.
Makes sense. It makes sense.
You're going to teach young children. You need to teach context clues.
You get
Right,
plunked, and then
right.
there's a rhubarb.
what was that one again?
What was a fight? Scuffle.
Guys, I don't know.
Plunked. Dodgeball.
They got hit.
Yeah.
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 Hey,
Yeah,
all
there we
right.
go, there we
Listen,
go.
Proud of you.
You
Thank
got it.
you,
You got it.
thank
You got it.
you.
Well done.
There's a lot of hope for you.
That's my 1 point. I got 1 point.
I would have got all of them wrong, by the way.
See, it makes me feel better that I did
So,
better than what you would have
Yeah,
done.
you should feel good about yourself.
Thank you. Thank you.
We cut off your story a little bit short of just like, hey, you ended kind of at the like college, just got drafted, and then we heard a little bit from Matt at the beginning of that it was a grind of your time in the professionals. So can you walk us through a little bit about those who don't know your story, the progression
In the
of
minor leagues.
minor leagues? I would even say like from minor leagues up to where you're at now.
Yeah. Yeah. So, minor leagues again. So like you go to Arizona and it's hot in the middle of the summer and it's rookie ball and there's not a soul in the stands. We're staying at a terrible hotel for like to live and it's like not this like magnificent life. And you're just kind of like, we're just we were told don't go to the restaurant across the street because it failed inspections. Like we're getting bused to and from the hotel to the field. No one has a car. We're making $200 every 2 weeks. Like craziness, but like you're living the dream. Like you're trying to make your way into the next level. So I finished out the year, rookie ball there, and then went to spring training, my first spring training in Hohokam in Mesa, and then I broke with the low A team. There's like back, and they changed all these things now, but like they used to be rookie ball, short season, there's extended spring training, there's a short season A, long season A, high A, double A, triple A. So like there's 6 levels, and some even had like 7 or 8. But now they changed it to just, I think, 4 with the new rules and stuff. But when I was coming up, it was like rookie ball. Then I went to the long season A for about a month or 2, did really bad. I think I hit like a $147, and then I got sent down to short season A. Finished out the year there. That was 2013. Next year, 2014, Boise, it was the short season A. Then I went 2014 spring training, broke with the low A team again, did terrible again, hit like 210, got sent down to short season A again for that season. Did well. There was a situation with the manager there, and just kind of wasn't a great fit, like just how everything was going. And it was similar to the Liberty coach, where it's like, you're not going to play, like I don't want to talk bad about the whole situation, but it was to the point where I was like, man, I'm kind of over this. Like the travel, the moves, like Rachel and I were married at the time. Like we're in Boise, Idaho, living in host families. Like it's just like in King County, you're out, host homes there, which we're great. And like they're helpful, but also it's not your own place. You're living in other people's houses. It's just like awkward and weird and can be hard at times. And you're trying to we're married, so it's like this weird dynamic with the other people, and like super grateful that they were there to help and like they were to do that, but also it added another layer of stress. But I got sent down to Boise, and there's 2 weeks of the season left, and I actually I'm done. Like I'm over this. Like this is I keep getting sent down. I'm not doing very well. Like I'm not I'm not playing well. I'm just kind of it's not fun anymore. And I was calling my dad. I'm like, Dad, I think I'm done. I think I'm going to retire. And he's like, well, play out the rest of the year, and, we'll talk about it. You made a commitment, stick to your commitment. I was like, yeah, you're right. Let's do that. So, this is 2 weeks left in the season. And I get a phone call that night from the manager. He's like, hey, you're going to AAA. I was like, dang, that's crazy. They just need a body there. So I go up to AAA the next day in Tacoma, Washington, and which was close to Boise. I think they needed a body. They needed to put somebody on the field because they were done. So let's get the closest guy there, and somebody that doesn't play, who doesn't matter. So I pack up, I go to Iowa. We're in Tacoma, and Manny Ramirez was on the team. And my first at bat, I walked on 4 pitches, and I was like, okay, cool. I got this. This. Yeah. Get to first base, get picked off. I was like, oh my God. Way to go. You dummy. Manny Ramirez comes like, it's okay, Poppy. It's okay. Thanks, Manny. Make me feel better. Next at bat, hit a homer. And I was like, what? It was crazy. Finished out the year there in Iowa the last week of the season, played every once in a while. I did really well. It kind of brought back a new passion, oh yeah, this is fun. This is fun again. You got this. Or and it also was hey, I'm not that far away. And it's that's something I learned in this game too, is you're never as bad as you think you are, and you're never as good as you think you are. And you're never that far away from where you want it to be. So it was kind of that, hey, I did really well the last week of the season in AAA. I was in short season, the whole, it wasn't I was a AAA player, but it was hey, I was doing this. This is pretty cool. So I was like, okay, let's I can do this, a renewed strength to okay, let's play this. Then 15 went to low A again for the 3rd year in a row, and then stayed there the whole year. Didn't play until the last month of the season. Really, I played once every 4 days, and a lot of things going on in the business side, which they kept at I don't know, a bunch of stuff, but that's more of an in-person thing. But then in 2015, in August, I played every day in August, and I hit 300. And I was like, okay, I got this again. Yeah. And then 16 was the year that Matt brought up about like this, or was the year before the last year. And so 16 was in Myrtle Beach, which I was on the Phantom DL. And then the last second half of the season, I played every day. But like before that, I was going to retire again because it was like I wasn't playing every day. I was on the Phantom DL. I had Rachel and Shaylee at the time, and it was like, okay, like if this isn't for me, like to the Cubs minor league coordinator, I was like, hey, like if I need to, like if you guys just keep me around because like I'm a good dude to have around and you like it, like that's great. Like let me know because I need to go get a big boy job.
Right.
And he's like, no, like you're gonna play every day, like you're gonna go do the thing. But like this was the second time that I was gonna retire, and like you're gonna go back, you're gonna play every day. We just traded for Chapman, so a couple guys from our team got traded to the Yankees. And then so I kind of opened up some spots. So I played and then did really well. We won the championship. Like I won the MVP that year and thought maybe it was possible I could get protected on the 40-man. Didn't happen. Come into 17. Well, then I actually go to AAA there for a little bit and get back. And the AAA coach ended up saving my job in AAA. Like they're going to call and release me. And he's like, nah, man, like you can't release this guy. Like he got to go play. Wow. So they sent me down to Myrtle Beach again and played out the rest of the year. And then next year, that was the Matt Cote where we're talking about hey, this is the last year. Like this is what we got. Went to AA, was an all-star in AA. I played really well. Went to the Fall League, which is like a prospect. It was the first time I was ever touted as a prospect. Like I was never a prospect in any sense of the word, like far from it. Went to the Fall League, which is like a prospect kind of like league for like all the best players type of thing in the minor leagues. Played there, did really well again. Then we were pregnant with Riley. So he was born at the end of that. So we came home early from that, about a week early. And then we got put on the 40-man and then went to my big league camp in 18 and then made my debut on April 22nd.
Wow.
Or 21st. One of those two. My son's birthday, my third son's birthday is on the 22nd. So it's like, get those mixed up.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And so then you were in the major leagues.
Yep.
For was it 5 years?
Yeah, so I was in big leagues. So in 18, I was up and down 5 times between Iowa and Chicago, and then 19, I was in the big leagues the whole year minus like 3 or 4 days. I got sent down, and then 2020 was COVID. I was in the big leagues, and then 21, I got hurt in May. I dislocated my shoulder, and then rehabbed it back. And then got sent down a little bit, got called back up, and then dislocated again at the end of the year for a second time. Then had surgery that off season of 21, and then 22. I started the year with the surgery on the IL, and then was up in the big leagues for a lot of it, and then got sent down, and then back up, and then sent down and back up, and then 23. I was in Iowa last year.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow. Thanks for walking us through. I think there's, as we're all kind of sitting here, Ryah was like, that's a wild story. I think just what Matt said earlier, just the grind, the up down of not knowing what was next and fighting for something that maybe will never come. You never know. So just thanks for sharing your story. I think there's a lot of just relatability of we go through things in life and it's not easy. We don't always see the future or what's next. Yeah. And it's really hard to be like, I'm going to commit to the process.
Yeah.
And, in your story, it paid off.
Yeah.
Which is really neat.
Yeah, it's crazy because like I've came across a lot of guys that didn't, and they were much better players than I was. Yeah. And, so it's not anything special I did. Like like I can't sit here and be like, yeah, I just was a better player. Like no, like there were way better players than me that got released. So it's like literally the grace of God.
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't know how much you can share, but as you kind of sit here looking at your future, what is it that you're hey, here's some goals I have, or here's what I'm thinking right now as I'm at this place in my time in my career. What are you thinking right now?
Yeah, it's very strange because, like, this will be my age 31 season, and, like, that's getting old-ish.
Yeah.
Like, kind of in the new realm of baseball, it's like it ebbs and flows, like, about, like, but it's a very young game right now. Yeah. So it's like I want to play as long as I can. It's fun. It's fun sometimes, but it's fun more often than not. It's still very difficult, but I kind of want to keep playing as long as I can. There's also my kids are getting older, so it's like they're starting to like do sports and things like that. And Rachel's been on this ride for, we've been together since 2011, so it's like 13 years we've done this. So it's like this very weird, like, when is it my time to like kind of take a step back, let the kids do their sportsing things or music things or whatever they want to do instead of lugging them around the country all the time, which they love it too. It's so funny because like, Dad, when we go back to Arizona, I'm like, we're going soon. Like, I want to go back to Iowa because that place was sweet. We got to play this and this and this. So like, it's really fun because they got to like a lot of cool experiences for them, which is kind of fun. But also like as they're getting older, and like we're homeschooling, but like as they get older and doing the school and the sports and the friends things, it's kind of like, when is that like sweet spot where it's like, hey, can they take over from like, you know, following Dad around this whole time.
Yeah.
And then something that like, it's weird because people like, I sense the next question is like, what are you going to do after baseball? And it's like, I don't know. Like, and I thought I knew. It's like, I got out of high school, like, oh, I'm a youth pastor. And it's like, maybe I would not have been a very good youth pastor. But like, you learn a little bit more about yourself. Like, I may have not been a good youth pastor, but like, I still love the youth and I love like being around students and all that stuff too. But I think as something that kind of happened this year, and every year, like I just try to hone in on like certain years, it's like super baseball specific, or like, let's like, especially in the minor leagues, like, hey, I'm going to do this, this, and this to be the best baseball player. And then like God took care of like some financial stuff, and he takes care of like along the way, like from when we had nothing to when we had a lot, like God was, I could see God's hand in it a lot. The last couple of years, it's been a little bit more working on emotionally, spiritually, like relationally than it has been like the baseball side, which has been very difficult because that's so not me. Like I do not like doing that at all. So like that's kind of been the new focus of like, okay, how can I like, especially as like my kids get older too, like I'm like, man, like I gotta teach these guys, like nobody else, like I gotta do it. And like, and I'm me, I'm like screwed up in my own right. And it's like, as you get older, like people like, I'm like, man, like I don't have this thing figured out even close. Like, nor do I think I ever will, but like, I better have a little bit better answers than what I got to tell my kids. But I think like, so what's kind of happened this year was we had our church did 21 days of prayer and fasting. And one of these weeks we did a practice on prayer, and it was like praying through God's will. And it's like just praying God's will over your life and like doing what God's will is for you. I'm like, well, what is that? Like, I don't know. Like, you don't know what God's will is, right? But it's like, so like the pastor, he was like, pray to God that my will would align with God's will. And it's like, God, like whatever, like change my will to what your will is for my life. That's and like, good. Give me that belief, give me that like stirring of that heart, like show me your will and make that my will. And like, and I've heard that, like, I was in church all the time, but like for this year, for whatever reason, it really resonated. Like, okay, like God, no, like really make it my will. Like, no, I'm not just saying it. Like, and like that's a scary thing, because like you let God like do that, like He can tell you, like you could do some crazy things, like. Yeah. Like for him and like, which would be great because like then you're in God's will, and it's like anything you ask in God's will, He'll be gracious to give it to you. It's like, all right, God, like let's do it, you know. So that's kind of been this year, and you know, it's been a whole process through years and years of working through. Like it's not, I wake up with one day and like that was it. Like it's been years of working and softening and churning.
Wow, I love that. Did you have a thought? You looked at me like you had something.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I just haven't really, I mean, I've had like kind of like moments like that where like I've kind of like thought through that. But I think the way that you just laid that out was so, it put it in a different perspective. I don't know. I thought that was really good.
I think what's really neat about it, I was about to be like, all right, so what does it look like when you're in those moments? And you answered it. And I think so many people that are listening and watching are in the place of like, I don't know what's next. And I think if I kind of dig in a little bit more to what you just said, I think it is a little bit harder when there isn't some sort of founding groundwork that's there. And it sounds like for you, you're like, hey, Jesus is that piece that like if I have kind of an aiming target for the future without knowing what my career looks like, maybe you'll be 44 retiring like Randy Johnson, maybe you're done next year. But you're like, but I have an idea. Jesus, whatever it is, let me just at least be willing to pay attention to who you are, where you're leading, where you're at.
Yep.
And so I just think for those people who are listening, like, I'm moving into high school and I don't know what's next. I'm moving into college. I'm moving into whatever the workforce is. It turns out like life is just a reoccurring change of seasons. I was talking to someone the other day. I was like, when you go from high school to college, guess what? College then into adulthood.
Yep.
And then you might change jobs. It's another transition. And eventually if you start getting married, and then if you have kids, your kids start going through the same transitions that you just feel like you experienced not that long ago. And it's just a full cycle. And so then there's so much value into how do we handle when life is changing constantly. And what you just shared is gold. Like I think if you're able to hold on to those foundations, you might not necessarily feel like it's success, but I think that formula is so key.
Yeah, what's crazy about, I read a book a few years ago. I can't remember exactly where it is, so or who wrote it, but along those lines of like, okay, like we have this concept of like, okay, when I'm in high school, then I'll do A, B, and C, or like, then you get to high school and you don't do it. Like, well, when I'm in college, then I'll be able to do
just the
God's
pushback
will.
of when you'll do it,
right? And you're like, okay, well, like then I'll do God's will, and like, well, when I do. Like when I get married, now I'll be able to like when I have a house, when I have a financial, and like, so that's so real. Cause like I struggle with that in my own ways. And like going into this last year, this current last year is the last year of my contract. Like again, like I could be done next year and I could be done 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years from now. But what I do have is this year. Like what I do have is today. And like, that's super cliche, but like, it's true. Like, where you are is where you are. Like you don't have yesterday, you don't have tomorrow. Like you are here. And like, what is God's will for your life today? Well, God says, love your neighbor as yourself. Like be a witness, be kind, be generous, be gentle. Like, so having that kind of like, is kind of like in my mind, like, hey, as I approach this last year, like this year, and it's like, if this is my last year, like, I don't want to be like, shoot, I messed that up. Or like, oh, I let that go. You know, I was like, no, let's be intentional about it. Super Christian word, but like, my wife's Christian. Christianese intentional. Yeah. But like being like this is where I am. Like you are in high school, you are in college, you are where you are, and like just being open and ready for what God has for your life, and then just like not like waiting for the next thing to then do it. Like do it now. Like just do it now. Just like making the best decision today, and then keep going forward.
That's great.
I love that.
Just in case people are like, man, is he bluffing? There's a quote that someone said about you. They said, David Bote believes in his winding road to the Cubs was a product of his faith. Without it, he would have quit a long time ago.
Yep.
And I just love that quote. I was like, I wanted to pick your brain. We've already kind of talked about kind of behind that. But man, there's so much good stuff of that like integration of faith in baseball. And we often talk about, using your platform for his purpose, and you came out the gate talking about baseball as the platform. I mean, within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And so I think there's something really neat as we have a couple more minutes left on here, but as people get to look at the different platforms we have, just want to honor you in always of just like you're using this platform for something so much bigger, and it's a rare find. And I feel like we just want to honor you in the moment of saying you took time to come hang out with us, and we just met today. And pouring into the next generation as they figure out their own paths and avenues, and just that tidbit of wisdom of how do you navigate transitions of going from one point to another. I would really love to know too. I like to give baseball players a hard time because my brother is one
For sure.
So this is not necessarily statistically proven right, but I would maybe say being a baseball player and following Jesus is a very difficult task to potentially do. And maybe you're like, maybe not, but it's more of my shot at my brother.
Yeah.
But anything, I would just say like, what in your journey through baseball and different seasons, and maybe there have been players or teammates who love Jesus or your own, what do you love about Jesus? What's kept you going? And what have you maybe found in the baseball community that you're really loving with faith?
Yeah. Life is hard in general, and like following Jesus is hard. Like it's like, cause like our flesh takes over. And so like that's like the Sermon on the Mount like does that, where it's like, it just evens the playing field. Like just like, there's nothing you can do that makes you better than anybody else. Like we are all sinful and fallen. And it's like the sermon, when Jesus does the Sermon on the Mount, like he levels the playing field. And so it's like super humbling in that regard. Very difficult to be a believer in any walk of life, much less in the professional world as well. But like God has been there the entire time. And there's times when I've pulled away or like distanced myself and been like, man, I got to get back into, you know, my routines and my rhythms of life, of being in the Word and being around people that are believers and being uplifted in that world, in that way. Like my wife has been a huge part of being that for me in general. It's like since she's been on the road the entire time. So like I've always got her. So like trying to be a little more relational in the past couple of years to like have people kind of edifying me up. Cause it's weird, but like I have not very good self-talk in a lot of ways. Especially baseball does that to you because like you fail so much. And I tell myself I suck so much. And like, I also tell myself I'm really good, but like a lot of times like, man, you stink. Like you're terrible. Or like, oh, you messed up, or, oh, you did this, or, oh, you did that, or you did it. And then I fail in the spiritual. Oh, you know, it's like this like nonstop, like banging on my own self. And then last year I was reading The Anatomy of the Soul by Dr. Kurt Thompson. And there's a verse in Zephaniah 3:17 where God delights over me and sings his praises over me. And it like, just like whacked me. Like, okay, like my posture of myself is not the same posture how God views me. And so it's like God delights in David. And it's like holding on to that and like I can now give that to other people versus me just like hounding myself. I'm like, you're not good, or you're not good in this, you're not good at that, or you're not good at this, or you're a bad husband, or you're a bad father, or you're a bad, you know, whatever it is, like that comes in. And it's like, well, God delights in you. He saved you from all of these things. Like there's freedom in that. So that's kind of like the most recent of things that's kind of like through the baseball years, I've been really like struggled just because like it's just kicks you in the teeth like all the time. And so then like being able to like, no, like God delights in me as his creation, like
That's good.
rest in that.
Wow. Do you have something you're going to say or that resonated well with you?
No, that was just really good. I think it's really important. I think everybody is always comparing themselves, but the access to things to compare yourself to is only growing.
Well, for sure.
I mean, I remember when I first got Instagram, you know, it was pretty new. But it's like I was in middle school, so it's like, but it was new enough that not everybody had it. But it's like now everybody has access to Instagram, TikTok. Influencers aren't a thing that existed before like 2017, maybe 20. I mean, you had like your YouTubers and
That was its own domain.
yeah, but now it's like everybody always has something to compare themselves to and like beat themselves down and say I'll never be this enough or that enough, you know. And I think that's a really good thing to just like be aware of. You know, it's like you don't have to be anything enough because God chose you as his child.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that's a really good reminder too, as you know, a lot of our viewers are kind of in that middle school, high school, young adult kind of age. I think it's something that we kind of forget sometimes. It's like, you know, because we have unlimited access. You're seeing all those things. You're a part of those conversations. And I think sometimes not only that, but then you forget kind of your identity, right? It's like you find your identity in God and you find your identity in Jesus. And I think with the world we live in now, I think that was a good reminder for a lot of us, myself included, to be kind of reminded of moving forward for sure.
Yeah, I think you had said something earlier on of like where you are, that's where you are.
Yeah.
And I think you did a great job just kind of breaking down the false narrative we can sometimes tell ourselves of, you know, when I'm not in high school baseball, when I'm there, when I'm not in school and I get to be my own boss, when I'm not, whatever the scenario is. I think a lot of people are like, once I've arrived, I've made it, all the
100%.
things. And here you are sitting there be like, the last couple of years I've had to spend the most amount of my time investing in my spiritual, emotional health of my life. And so thanks for just sharing some of the things that you're working through and walking through. All of us, I think it landed in some really unique ways, and we hope for you guys that was the same. Do any of you guys have any last questions before we kind of start wrapping anything up?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
David, do you have anything else that you would love to add on or share or promote anything?
No,
I
don't think so.
Okay.
Also, here's what I will say. First of all, your wife, one of the sweetest people I've ever met, and
She's the
I
best.
love your kids. so much.
Thank you.
They are
Thank
so
you.
fun.
We are blessed for sure. Like, again, Rachel and Shaylee and Riley and Sully, like, they're so much fun. Like, they're so much fun to be around. And it's just like, they're able to, like, we have a workout gym now. And so it's like, they come out and work out. Like, they walk around and run around. So it's fun to have them a part of this. And I think they're going to be old enough to where they can remember some of these things before it's like, oh, what did we do? And it's like, well, like, hopefully they remember. But yeah, like, Rachel, again, was part of that, like, support system in the minor leagues where I thought about quitting, and it's like faith, and then like having people around, which was her. Like, I'm not a friends person. I'm starting to be that way. But like, she was my person, like, this entire time, to be like uplifting and encouraging and like to be someone I could go to, like, hey, like, you're doing it. You're doing good. Like, you're doing good. And so I think the more people you have, the easier it is. I had her, which was enough. But like, yeah. So thank you.
Of course.
I wouldn't be able to end this podcast without at least mentioning this. Jay Fishy. So we do a moment where they get to ask questions.
Yeah.
And Fishy 2744. He's a baseball player right now in college. Just graduated last year. He's just curious. What is something that you would recommend a pitcher do to get help better at their craft? Do you have
pitcher?
anything? Yeah.
Oof.
Yep. I know. A little bit out of your, play field, but have you ever pitched before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in college.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many ways I could go, but like honing in your craft, putting in the effort, being disciplined, like, you're going to get out what you put in. Like, so it's like, how much are you willing to put in? Like, how much are you willing to eat right, to take care of your body, to get the right amount of sleep, to do in college, to make sure you're eligible, to make sure you're doing your school, to being at the workouts, being a good teammate. Like, I think that, like, all the, like, things outside of being on the mound or in the box take so much pressure off of you. Like, if you're on the mound and you're worried about being eligible, like, you're not going to be a successful pitcher. But if you're eligible and you put in the time and you put in the work and you put in, like, the time in the weight room, and you've worked on your throwing program, you've done your shoulder work, then when you get on the mound, like, you're like, okay, I'm prepared for this moment. Like, you prepare for that moment before the moment happens, so that when you get in that moment, then it's like, all right, I've done it. Now, whether I fail or succeed, like, irrelevant.
Yeah.
Like, I'm ready for it. Like, I can make the best pitch I've ever made in my entire life, and the guy can take it 500 feet for a homer. But I can go to bed at night being like, I did what I took to be in that moment, and the guy was better than me today. And so it's like, if I can go to bed every day being like, and you're not going to do it every day. It's impossible. Like, there's times where I'm like, man, I really don't want to do this. But those times that I end up doing it, getting the workout in, hitting the cage or whatever it is, eating right or not eating that piece of chocolate or whatever it is, and be like, okay, like, I'm ready for this moment. Now, I can go up there and go 0 for 4 with 4 punchies and be terrible and never get a hit again. But like, I know my preparation was there, and I can live with that. Like, I can't control the results of it, but like, I can control the effort, my focus, my ability to do what I can. And then if the guy was just better than me, the guy was better than me that day.
Yeah.
That's good.
Awesome. Appreciate you sharing that. Fishy will enjoy it. Fishy 27. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming out to join us today and sharing your wisdom and your story. I think some people can find you on Instagram.
Yeah, I don't use it. I don't use it. I have it just because
they can root you on. And right this upcoming season, where are you going to be at?
I don't know.
Starting? Okay, you're waiting to find out.
Let's see. I won't know until about 3 days before the season starts.
Google's a friend.
Yeah.
If you want to
I find out with
David,
everybody else.
Yeah, you want to support David.
Sometimes
I find out
after.
when you find out.
Sometimes after.
After everybody else.
We had a guy got traded. He found out on Twitter.
Oh.
He's like, he walks in there and he's like, hey, did I get traded? Yep. What?
Dang.
Stuff like that happens all the time. They're like, how would you know? I found out when everybody else finds out.
Yeah, it's like when Jason Kelsey was like, "Oh, they announced I've retired."
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's like, well, guess that's happening.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, just prayer and cheering me on and just kind of like, it's hard, but it's fun. So
Yeah. We definitely do. We'll be in your corner.
Appreciate
you
it.
on, praying for you. But again, thanks for joining us and making this episode special. And hopefully someone out there feels encouraged and maybe you have a platform that you're building someday. Just keep an eye on David, someone that is doing a great job saying, I'm going to use my platform for a bigger purpose and making the most of it. So we appreciate you.
Yeah.
Ryah, thanks for joining us today.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Maybe we'll run it back
been
on
good.
another episode sometime.
Yeah,
Be
for
good.
sure.
Be good. As always. Now we're gonna go talk about your shoes you bought.
They're so bad.
right.
They're
It's
so
fine.
bad.
They're snow boots, and they were cheap. I got them on sale, like half off.
That doesn't. They're so.
A deal
awful.
will get
They're
a deal
so
will get
awful.
Parker sometime.
A deal will also get Matt.
Yeah, it will get.
That's true.
I mean,
60-cent Del
Bye.
Tacos.
and with that, we love you all. Peace.